I didn't set out to raise geniuses. I set out to raise confident kids. But I'll be honest, when I decided I was going to teach my boys to read before kindergarten, I questioned myself the entire time. I kept asking myself, does this even matter? Am I pushing too hard? Is this necessary? This is what school's for, right? They'll eventually learn it. I wasn't trying to accelerate their childhood. I wasn't trying to create this pressure at a young age. I just kept thinking, what if I could give them a head start that would remove stress later? That's because I remember this very clearly before having children, of a group of mothers at my church complaining about the struggle of homework and getting their kids to read, and how they would be in tears every night up late trying to get their kids, through their schoolwork day after day. And I remember thinking, I don't want that. Is this what it's going to be like? So I started intentionally, before I ever even had kids, thinking, I don't want my kids to struggle like that. I don't want to struggle with them. I want to be able to support them, but I don't want to be spending our evenings in tears trying to help them, be at par with their peers, or at least get them to where they should be. I would much rather them be ahead and not be in this constant struggle of feeling like they're behind their peers. I remember clearly watching those moms talk about tears at the kitchen table, and I remember thinking, I don't want my evenings defined by stress. I want peace. I want connection. I want my kids to feel capable. So if you're watching this and you're already feeling that creeping in, the stress, the resistance, the nightly battles, this is exactly why I started early. And I love to know what people are thinking. So if you experience something similar or remember doing this with your parents growing up, let me know in the comments. So how do we accomplish that? The answer that I learned early on was being an early reader. I had seen kids struggle. I had seen the frustration that comes when reading doesn't click. And I knew reading isn't just a subject. It's the doorway to every subject and loads of opportunities. If a child can read confidently, school and family life feel different. Now, I want you to trust me as I'm trying to talk to you parent to parent in these videos to try and convey to you the importance of what I'm trying to do here. I had doubts. There were nights I thought, is this going to make any difference at all? Will they even remember this by third grade? I'm not a teacher myself, and I struggled as a reader when I was young. Can I really help them start school ahead of their peers by teaching them early reading skills? And there was days, I was exhausted. I was working full-time in a corporate job at the time. I was tired. This is what my days would look like. And I just wanted to show you so you'd understand my time was stretched too. And I'm one of those people who has trouble saying no, like big time. But I would get up between 4 and 5 a.m. each day. My goal was to try to get 2 hours of work in before they got up. I also had become so efficient with my time as a mother because when you become a mom, I felt like I gained this superpower of multitasking that I still can't explain to this day. And so there's work that would take me 6 hours to complete, back in my corporate office that took me 3 hours working in my home office. So I became super focused and efficient with my time. I actually love talking about time management. I talk about it in my course, a lot. So when they got up, I usually focused those next 2 hours on just them, getting dressed for the day, starting a load of laundry, starting the dishwasher, singing songs with them, maybe sitting down to watch a quick little show and reading a couple of books. Reading or reading type activities were something I learned to naturally weave into everyday moments. Just 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Then when they napped, I focused on work. And it went back and forth the whole day. If they were awake, but I needed to be working, many times the options for them, to sit on the floor next to me or be in the office with me were books that they could look through or books that they could listen to. I was not one of these parents who felt like I needed to entertain them all day or that teaching them early reading skills meant that it had to look like school or some Pinterest way that is not realistic. I used the time I had to make everyday moments learning moments on things that I felt were important, bond with my children, and allow me to still work. Was it a balance act every day? Yeah. Did I have to be flexible? Yes. But now that my children are much older, I realize that me doing that at home and that routine now has taught my children that you can do a lot in just 10 to 15 minutes a day when you're focused and intentional with your time. And that's what I teach, is how parents can be intentional with 10 to 15 minutes a day with everyday moments, with running errands, and be able to teach these early reading skills in a natural and fun way that allows you to bond with your child and reduce that stress later down the road. But I made one decision that changed everything early on. We would keep it simple. Short lessons, no pressure, consistency over perfection, always. So in the next video, I want to show you what I learned about what early reading actually does to a child's brain, because once I understood that, it stopped feeling like extra. It felt foundational. So if you're a parent wondering if this matters, stay with me here. You're going to want to understand this.